I serve along with Superintendent Nate Jefferson in the country of Portugal. 1 Peter 4:16 said, "Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf." At this time, we will have testimony from Christian persecution around the world. Bishop Bevan Lawrence from India First Jurisdiction. God bless.
I praise God for His good at all the times, giving honor to the presiding bishop, the presidium of the church, giving honor to our mission president and the vice presidents. The Christian persecution globally is increasing day by day. I would like to give a brief account of the persecution which is in India and in the 1040 window. Christians are considered to be untouchables and aliens in our country by some people. And the leaders say that if you are a Christian, you get out of our country and go to either to United States or to Britain. That's what the people say. The government is taking all steps to bring back India to be a Hindu country, and they want to change the constitution. Christian churches are burned. Last year, the Bibles are set to fire, and in some places, the tongues of the pastors were cut, and pastors were killed, and sometimes the mob go into the churches and they try to destroy the churches. I just want to tell you some incidents which happened recently. On October 27 this year, 3 pastors and their wives were beaten up by radical Hindu nationalists. And on 28th October, in the state of Uttar Pradesh, a mob entered into a church where 6,000 people are worshiping. And they scattered the people, and they went to the police, and the police arrested hundreds of the church members and asked them not to continue their church service. They also framed false criminal accusations against the Christian leaders in the northern part of India. It is going on in India. Attacks on Christians and in their places of worship in India continues to rise both in numbers and severity since the current government has taken to power in the year 2014. The document says that the incidence of persecution is doubled. But we praise God that God is with us and the churches are growing. In Nepal was the only Hindu nation in the world, but in the year 2017 it became secular. But Indian government they imposed sanctions on this country, and now they have an anti-conversion law in that country, and if somebody is found that they convert somebody, they will be imprisoned for 5 years. And recently a prayer tower was demolished in Nepal. A leprosy mission hospital was stormed by the Hindu people, and they burned the Bible recently. On April 23rd, 5 Christians, including an American citizen, were arrested in Nepal's Dang district, accusing attempts of conversion. On March 24, a Christian pastor was beaten by an angry mob. Despite an increase in persecution, Christianity has continued to grow in Nepal with more than 8,000 churches established and over 1 million converts to Christianity in the past 10 years. COGIC has 10 churches in Nepal. In Myanmar, the army is preparing for an imminent onslaught against Christians who live in 3 states where the Christian percentage is 90%. 130,000 Christians from Kachin states have been displaced in their state over the past 6 months. And the Christians are now in fear of a surprise violent attack from the government, including arbitrary firing of artillery and displacement camps, other civilian areas by the Burma forces. On October 26th, Pastor Mong, along with 57 others, were abducted by the ethnic militants in Myanmar. And in Indonesia is the world's mostly populated Muslim population in the world. 80% are Muslims. But in Indonesia, until recently, Christians and Muslims were living together. But now the government is imposing Muslim law in the country, and over the past 10 years, more than 1,000 churches have been closed across the country. In May this year, 3 suicide bombers killed at least 11 people when they targeted a church in Surabaya in Indonesia. COGIC has 1 mission station in Indonesia. They need our prayer and support. And finally, in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is 70% Buddhist, and 12.6% are Hindus, and 9.2% are Christians. But most of the Sri Lankans think that to be a Sri Lankan, you should be a Buddhist. Recently, on the Resurrection Day, this year, 3 churches in Sri Lanka were bombed by the Islamic extremists. 321 innocent people in these churches were killed, and more than 500 seriously wounded. COGIC has 25 churches in Sri Lanka. They need our prayer and support. In spite of persecution, saints are steadfast in their faith, ready to be martyrs for the gospel. They need our prayer and support at this time of persecution. Thank you so much for this opportunity. God bless you.